Hiya Squishers, and today let's chat about knitting faster. Yes, it's something that I aspire to do all of the time for a number of reasons. Number one is it would be amazing to knit more in a smaller amount of time. Number two, it'd be easier to streamline my projects and my demands on my knitting goals. And number three, it's a bit like magic. Like I really, and I know I'm not the only one, I have knit aspirations where I may be one day, and I know it takes years of practice, which is what we're going to chat about, that I too can knit whilst watching the telly or anything, the sunrise, the sunset, the telly, the children playing, without looking, knit a whole jumper in a day. Like that's my knit ambitions, but I'm okay knowing it's going to take me some time. Now, one of the things I can share with you about knitting faster is there are some real handy little tips, because I've done a lot of searching on the internet to find out ways to knit a lot faster, because it doesn't happen straight away. It takes a little while. So what I realized is that routine and practice makes a huge difference. Now, if you're practicing something regularly, you'll get faster at it anyway. So number one, practice regularly, you'll automatically get faster. Number two, the way that you hold your needles makes a really big difference. Now, I started off kind of like working on this part of the needle and trying to do this. This is how I used to knit. So I used to knit with my hand like this. So I guess it's throwing. So I would throw. Right, which my mum can do extraordinarily fast. However, that just doesn't work for me. So I have found a way. I've done a little video on the grid of how I wrap my yarn to give me even tension and in a way that I don't even have to worry about my fingers doing anything. So work on a method or a technique that helps you feel more comfortable knitting. The end. Number three. I think we're on number three. Work as close to the tips of the needles as you can. Yeah, it's a lot easier when you're working in smaller things because you can get closer to the needles. So that is another little tip that I have worked out over the while, that actually the closer to the tip of the needle you work, so I've just gaffed and dropped a stitch, right? The closer to the tip of the needle you work, the easier it is for you to make less motions, which is kind of the aim of the game. I worked out is you want to make as little movements as possible, because the more things you have to do to get your stitch done, all that little tiny stuff takes micro amounts of time. And when I know you're trying to shave off, minutes will do for some of us, minutes. If you're trying to shave off some time, just keeping your movements as micro as possible is also a big help. Now, working small close to the needle tip is great, but what if you like knitting larger things? Well, you're in luck, because the bigger the needles, the quicker you knit. And that is absolutely the most satisfying type of knitting to do ever. And that is the only way I've ever achieved knitting a whole jumper in a day. Yes, I did, but no, it didn't have any sleeves, no sleeves, but it was like a whole thing, right? So I knit that really fast, big chunky needles. I think I did a 6 or 7. I went wild, used lots of yarn, and I had the chunkiest jumper. So another tip, if you want to knit faster, go chunky, go big, get bigger needles. So there you go. A couple of ways that you can improve your knitting speed without getting stressed, because actually the more you do it, as I said, just the more you do it, the better you'll get. And there's all other kinds of ways that you can train your fingers, because that's kind of what we're doing here. We're training our fingers to learn a new skill and do a new dance. And sometimes that in itself can take a little minute. So if you're into learning a new dance with your fingertips on the needles, try a totally different type of knitting strategy. Now, one of the ones that I have been captivated by and have not been able to master, well, I have, but not long enough to stick at it, is Portuguese knitting. Oh my gosh. That is the kind of thing where you pop the yarn around your neck, just in case you haven't heard about it. And if you have, you pop the yarn around your neck like this. And this is how you knit from the left continental, I think, or you can do it from I tried it with the right, so it goes like this. But my yarn is on this side. Now I just look like I'm tangling myself, so it goes like this. So essentially you can attach it to like a little hook or something on a necklace or a little button here. And then you can knit, have your neck take the tension. So you do even less movements, and that itself lends itself to knitting faster. So try different ways of tensioning your yarn. Try rings, whatever. Like if you want to make micro improvements, and that's what we're talking about, micro tiny improvements, give anything a go. And there's fabulous free resources all over YouTube that you can look at to see how other people improve their knitting. And I must say, the one thing that I've taken on board, which is obviously stuck, is knitting in the round. Why is it faster? You don't have to turn anything. You just keep going round and around and around. So I get to save micro bits of time. I know, only micro, but I don't have to turn my work. I just keep going. So I save time by doing laps. So there you go. There's my, I should give this more of a go, because I do like this. Do you knit like this? If so, would you recommend it? So there you go. Let me know how you knit, and if you'd like to knit faster and what you tried out and if it worked down below, and I shall see you next time. Bye!